Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today for our presentation regarding job and internship search strategies. I'm Jormel Zaldivar, Senior Associate Director for Common Good Careers within the Office of Career Strategy of Yale University. What we're covering today through this presentation, I'll be talking about an overview of OCS Services, how we at OCS support you with your professional development and achievement of your career goals, setting goals, gaining an understanding of why you may be pursuing certain opportunities, what are your intentions, your motivations, exploring options, what are the various means for you to learn more about the roles, industries, and the work you're most curious about. Online OCS resources. These are resources for immediate access, which you may have already started to take peeks and investigate. Passive versus the active job search. What is the difference between the two, and how embracing a more active approach may be beneficial. Networking. How this will be an important strategy to implement throughout your career journey, especially as you begin to explore. And then we'll touch upon funding opportunities. I'll also introduce ways for you to fund your opportunities and as some will either underpay or not pay you, which would be typically for work within nonprofits, and then developing an action plan. So our mission at OCS is to offer you career and professional school advising, employment and internship opportunities, and career development resources. Among the populations we work with include students and alumni of Yale College, Yale Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, and postdoctoral scholars to clarify career aspirations, identify opportunities, and offer support to you at every stage of your career development. Now, this means that most of our resources are extended to you post-graduation and for life. At OCS, we have a wonderful group of advisors who are ready to sit and share discussion with you on just about anything that piques your curiosity as you navigate your career journey. We also have specialized advisors for students who have particular interest in pre-law or health professions. In one-on-one advising, among many topics, we can talk about discovering your interests, skills, and values, all the qualities that you'll be bringing to the table as you explore different opportunities. We can also discuss the various presentation components needed when applying to a job that can include composing a cover letter, resume, and articulating those qualities through your responses during an interview. In advising, we can also offer feedback on your materials, as well as suggest how to frame interview responses while feeling comfortable and confident throughout the recruiting process. We can also teach you on how to network. Most advising is conducted through one-on-one general 30-minute sessions that are scheduled through CareerLink, an online resource I'll speak more about in a bit. Other types of advising you can engage yourself with include pre-law or health professions. And we also have the 15-minute quick question advising option when you may just have that one specific burning question you'd like addressed. We also host workshops on several topics. Besides today's topic, among other topics can include resume writing and interview skills. To support your exploration, we have a vast inventory of resources that's housed online through the OCS website and CareerLink. Again, I'll speak more about that in a bit. We also host employer events where you can engage in networking with professionals to learn more about their work, their organization, and respective industries, and how they recruit, as well as for them to have the opportunity to get to know you. You can also sign up and customize our weekly newsletter to include specific areas of interest to alert you about new and existing resources, upcoming events, and opportunities of note. So setting goals for the summer, while in the process of sorting through and figuring out what you could be doing next summer, the following semester, or beyond. You may have asked yourself, what are my goals for pursuing those opportunities? Setting goals can help you stay motivated in that pursuit and inspire you to create a plan to achieve them. These goals can vary as well as intersect and are very personal to you. They can include trying out a career field or gaining broad exposure to an industry. Perhaps you have an interest in several fields and industries, but you have determined for yourself that the next summer would be a good time to experience what it would be like to work in one particular field or industry of interest. At times, the goal may be to develop specific skills. These skills may be technical, required for specific job functions within certain industries, or even soft or transferable skills such as leadership or effective communication. All of those skills that you wish to hone and wish to prominently highlight on future job or internship applications. Sometimes your goal may be to practice foreign language skills to gain further competency, whether it be for academic, personal, or professional reasons. Maybe you'd like to be somewhere different geographically, either in a different part of the United States or anywhere around the world, or you would just like to be closer to home. You may also have the goals of taking care of some academic requirements, so earning academic credit or even earning some money. Again, any of these goals can intersect. So skills, values, and interests will be key in defining your goals, as well as other criteria such as geography, function, and industry. So speaking of job function and industry, let's go over the basic definitions and distinctions between the two. Industry indicates a particular environment or domain that may offer a product or type of service. Some examples of various industries include education, healthcare, consulting, hospitality, finance, so on and so forth. While job function refers to a particular skill set or role for which you will be applying. Examples include research, project management, policy, or marketing. Job functions can stay with you across various industries. Financial analysts do not always work at banks, or software engineers do not always work for tech firms. At the same time, you do not need to be a financial analyst to work at a bank or a software engineer to work for a tech firm. Organizations within specific fields will be looking to hire for a variety of job functions. So as you apply for internships and jobs, consider what is your particular job function of interest. What is it that you are bringing to the table as in terms of a skill set to an employer within your field of interest, the environment where you wish to work? You may see these two distinctions illustrated through our outcomes data on ocs.yale.edu, our website. Now, how do you begin to explore? There are many resources, both within and outside of Yale, that will allow you to do so. At Yale, this can include student organizations centered around certain industries, professors who may have a professional background outside of academia, as well as a vast network that may include their former students. Vault guides, which are industry career guides and are among the many online resources licensed through the library. Our OCS Design Your Career tool, which will help you reflect and take inventory of your skills, interests, and values, as well as the experiences that have shaped your career development thus far, and allows you to imagine several futures with so many wonderful options and possibilities. Our OCS website and career link will house the majority of our resources, which I'll mention in further detail on the next slide. Some external resources include going directly to company websites of interest, as well as LinkedIn, where you can follow companies so that you can see their posts broadcasted through your newsfeed, which can include job and internship opportunities on top of sharing highlights of current projects, or professionals of note within their organization. Some companies may even have podcasts for you to listen to as well. So on our website, ocs.yale.edu, among the resources housed there will include detailed information regarding a number of different fields of interest. If you hover your cursor above Explore Careers, the drop-down menu on the left-hand side will reveal several general career categories. Hover your cursor among any of them to further reveal specific fields. Other resources on that top toolbar include tips for composing your resume and cover letter, as well as other types of correspondence, interview preparation, and how to network. There's also an events calendar towards the right-hand side that will list a good number of our upcoming virtual and in-person events, where you'll have the opportunity to meet with employers and alumni representing various job functions and fields, admission representatives from grad school programs, and workshops to support your job search efforts. On CareerLink, our career management platform, you'll find a job board, employer information that includes their profile, as well as contact information and a way for you to schedule advising appointments. CareerLink also has an events calendar, and this is where you can reserve your spot for most events organized through OCS. Specific resources of note include Big Interview, a great AI tool that will support you as you compose your resume for specific opportunities, as well as offer feedback to your recorded responses to interview questions. Big Interview also has a number of fantastic short video tutorials as well. Rocket Blocks, which is a resource that will help you prepare for case study interviews with consulting firms, as well as with employers within tech and finance. Career Shift, which is not only a job aggregator, but will also help you find the professional email addresses of prospective networking contacts. The Vault Guides, which is a resource licensed through the library. There are specific guides regarding specific fields, as well as specific guides of employers within those fields. Going Global, which is an informative resource for anyone who lives in one country but wishes to work within another. The resource will include information about how to navigate the visa process, how to present yourself as a candidate, as well as how to look for work within your country or international city of interest. The Traverse Government Job Board that includes both internships and full-time jobs, and the peer networking lists that will inform you of where students and recent alumni are working, as well as their contact information to support your networking. To quickly find any of these resources, just enter the name within the search box on our website. So wondering about your career, a moment ago I spoke about goal setting and how this may be informed through a bit of reflection about your skills, values, and interests amongst other criteria. To support your reflection, we have a great resource on our website called Design Your Career at Yale. This is based on Stanford University's innovative approach to applying design thinking principles to career decision-making. You can use this at your own pace, and you can pick and choose which modules to try. Some of these reflection exercises include examining your college, work, and world views. There's a mind mapping exercise where you can ideate and brainstorm options for your future. An Odyssey plan where you can create a mini prototype based on 3 different timelines for the next 5 years and how they may play out. I created a modified plan to help students plan out the next 5 months of each semester. Feel free to contact me and I'll send you the template or schedule an appointment with me to learn more. So here's a glimpse about the process. On the left-hand side, you can see the non-linear stages of the process. Accept, which means accepting where you are. Empathize, developing an understanding of yourself. Define, articulating the problem or challenge, and defining your targets as well as goals. Ideate, which involves brainstorming, research, and exploration. And prototyping, which can involve networking, informational outreach, and applying to different opportunities. And to the right is a way for you to electronically organize your values, skills, and interests. Now let's spend a little bit of time talking about the distinctions between a passive versus active approach. So how exactly do employers source candidates, and how are you informed about opportunities with organizations of interest? There are a number of ways that include straight from the company website, job boards such as Indeed, or even through social media. But referrals are certainly a key way for employers to source candidates. There's some compelling data that underscores the importance of referrals. According to LinkedIn, employee referrals are 4 times more likely to be hired. The Business Insider says that 70% of jobs aren't even posted, meaning through the other methods stated in the last slide. And according to the US Bureau of Labor and Statistics, about 85% of jobs are found through networking, which will be an important strategy to implement in your job search. In order to engage in an active job or internship search, consider implementing a dual approach. You may want to create a target list of maybe about 20 to 40 employers that have sparked your curiosity and, after reflection, aligns with your interests. This list may be created by examining the peer networking lists, the outcomes data, as well as the employer directory through CareerLink, as this will inform you about the trends of where Yale students and alumni were hired. Other ways to garner information can include LinkedIn, Glassdoor, where you can read feedback from past employees of almost any employer out there, as well as a number of external career resources. Some were mentioned a moment ago, which includes the Volt Guides. There are more industry-specific resources listed within each career page on ocs.yale.edu. The other approach is to search for opportunities through job search engines and job boards. These can include internships and jobs posted through CareerLink, found through CareerShift, as well as Handshake, and specific industry sites such as Idealist for nonprofit employers or Traverse Jobs for government employers mentioned a moment ago. Each resource will have a way for you to create email alerts so that notifications of newer postings will go directly to your inbox. Now, implementing the sole approach of combing through job boards, receiving alerts, then sending applications is considered to be a passive way to engage in your job search. Implementing both strategies will be a more active approach and will allow you to tap into that hidden source of opportunities and gain referrals. Again, a key way that employers will source candidates. Let's take a moment to delve into what happens after your target list is created and how to engage in a more active job search, which can involve a couple of additional steps. After creating your list, first find prospective contacts for each listed employer, then reach out to those contacts for informational interviews. As you initiate the process of finding contacts, first consider approaching those closest to you, who can include your family and friends, former coworkers and supervisors from past jobs and internships, as well as professional and national organizations. These organizations, like the American Marketing Association and the American Counseling Association, as examples, were created for the purpose of nurturing professional growth, and many have student membership levels. From here, you can build your list by examining the peer networking lists and the employer directory on CareerLink. Any individual that you identify through these lists have given their consent to be contacted, so feel free to reach out to them. You can also discover prospective contacts through Yale's LinkedIn alumni page, Yale's Cross Campus, which is a platform managed by the Alumni Office that will allow you to connect with fellow Yale community members. You can also find a mentor through Cross Campus. And you may find contacts through CareerShift. CareerShift will also provide a link to that individual's LinkedIn profile. You can also add faculty members to this list who may have worked with relevant industries of interest prior to their academic role and may still maintain close professional ties to this field. They may also be in touch with former students who are currently working within your fields of interest. So here's an example of a target list that can be created through Excel or Google Sheets. Each row represents a nonprofit organization of various issues listed in alphabetical order, while the columns represent other bits of information, including a URL of the organization's website, contact names, their email addresses, and correspondence columns detailing when was the last attempt at communication and its current status. You can modify this target list according to your needs and personal methods. For example, you can order the organizations according to priority of interest. You can also add columns for the application deadlines or anticipated date when that application will be open. This info can be discovered and gathered through your research as well as your networking efforts. You can even color code this information. Perhaps you want to highlight in yellow which organizations have an active deadline and requires your immediate attention. Informational interviewing is a part of networking that involves building relationships with people who have similar interests and skills to work towards the same goal. The gems that you'll obtain through this process include learning more about the industries that interest you most at this point in time. Identify the various roles within organizations, such as the early career roles that you may be keeping an eye out for during your senior year. Also, to be on someone's radar for when an opportunity crosses their desk. And this is where the referral comes into play. Again, this is a key method for employers to source prospective candidates. You can learn more about networking and informational interviewing through our website, ocs.yale.edu, under a network located on the top toolbar. There you will find sample correspondence for initial outreach, as well as sample questions to ask those who you have established connection with. Informational interviewing is certainly a powerful networking tool that will allow you to learn about various career paths and build relationships for the future. Although an informational interview may eventually lead to a job offer, that won't be your primary goal. The focus is more about learning about the person's organization, their role, and the path it took to get there, as well as to gain the advice you may need in order to best prepare for future opportunities. Remember that networking is all about relationship building. Consider initiating your networking strategy well before the job posting materializes. Here's just a couple of examples of elements to consider including within your initial correspondence. Notice that the first example for the introduction includes a contact name. Referrals can also be important in bridging connections, as identifying a contact can establish trust. These can come from the resources and starting points mentioned before, past supervisors, fellow students, faculty members, for example. The second example under the introduction may be further enhanced through your research about the individual. Perhaps you discovered through their LinkedIn profile that they've worked experientially on projects that you've learned about in class, or they may have achieved certain milestones within their organization, or even made a positive impact within their field that has impressed you. With the ask, besides offering a way uh, uh, for you to connect with them, you may also include a couple of sample questions you would have for this individual, again, based on your research about the individual, their organization, and their field. Again, you may find sample informational interview questions on our website, ocs.el.edu. Now let's touch upon and spend a little bit of time on summer funding. Especially funding for some of the opportunities you'll be pursuing. That includes nonprofits, government, and research opportunities that may provide little or no form of compensation. Descriptions and a way for you to apply to many summer fellowships are found through the Student Grants Database, which is managed by the Office of Fellowships. Be sure to do your research about fellowship opportunities, take note of deadlines, and begin the process of applying for them as soon as you know that you'll need funding and identified the fellowship opportunity that could potentially fund your opportunity. Note that many fellowships are competitive and that funding is not guaranteed. Also note that internships, opportunities, positions connected to fellowships do not always need to be secured, just proposed at the time of your fellowship application submission. The Summer Experience Award is one of the exceptions when your opportunity does need to be secured by the time you submit your application. Also note that many fellowships require letters of recommendation, so make sure to approach your recommenders, who may be faculty members or former supervisors, in a timely manner and inform them of deadlines, as well as check in maybe a couple of weeks before the deadline just to make sure that they are on track to make their submissions. And just a bit about the Summer Experience Award, the SEA, which is managed by OCS. It's a one-time award to Yale undergraduate first-year students, sophomores, and juniors on financial aid who have secured an approved, unpaid, or underfunded summer experience. Underfunded, meaning that the employers are providing compensation that is less than $2,000 for a full-time work for a period of 8 weeks. The summer experience can be an internship, a research opportunity, or an apprenticeship in the US or abroad with a nonprofit organization or an NGO, a government entity, an arts apprenticeship, or a science lab or other research type opportunity. Again, this needs to be a full-time, 30 hours a week opportunity for an 8-week period. Opportunities within the US, the award is $4,000, while the international experience is $6,000. If you've been awarded the SEA in the past, you are no longer eligible for funding. There is a priority deadline that is in early April, and the final deadline for the SEA is in early May. Applications are open by the end of the year through CareerLink, and you can visit our website, ocs.yale.edu, for more information. Other types of funding opportunities out there include some that are also managed through OCS. This includes the Paul Block Journalism Internships, Buckley Media and Public Policy Internships, Yale Alumni Community Service Fellowship, the Yaki Community Service Fellowship, and Yale and Hollywood. Most of these applications will open through CareerLink, with exception to Yaki, which will be available through the Student Grants database. You may find more information regarding all of these opportunities through ocs.yale.edu. And then additional opportunities include the President's Public Service Fellowships, as well as through Dwight Hall, are just a couple of other examples within Yale's community. Again, with your summer planning, consider all of your options and your goals. You do not necessarily need to do an internship to have a fulfilling summer. Other options include Yale Summer Session, Summer Abroad, and other types of fellowships for independent research projects, just to name a few. So your action steps from here can include some of the following: determining your summer goals and interests, reviewing your application materials, meaning your resume and your cover letter drafts, reading the OCS newsletter for upcoming career events and opportunities, finding opportunities through CareerLink and other online resources, networking, which will make you feel more active and engaged in this process, meeting with an OCS advisor to ask questions along the way, and applying to positions of interest, continuing to apply until you accept a position that feels like the best fit for the moment and meets your goals and interests. Now, here are some additional resources for international students who have additional challenges in navigating the job and internship process. And this marks the end of the presentation, but feel free to schedule an advising appointment through CareerLink, as we'd love to meet with you. You can also email us at careerstrategy@yale.edu, and of course, visit our website, ocs.yale.edu. Thank you very much. Bye for now, and see you again soon.